Hello everyone, my name is Henry DuPont. I'm the CEO and founder of Simpli Management. In this in-depth tutorial, we're going to walk you through step by step from setting up your Simpli Management account to enabling your online rent collections and applications. In this tutorial, we're going to be able to understand all the intricacies and inner workings of our software, and it's going to be a little bit of a longer video, so please bear with us and feel free to skip through to the sections that you really need. Getting started with Simpli Management is incredibly simple. You just simply navigate up to the top right-hand corner of the website and click the Sign In button. Next, fill in all the basic information about your account, such as your first name, your last name, email address, and your best phone number. Next, you want to go to the I Am section and choose what applies best to you, an owner, a manager, or a tenant, and feel free to choose multiple. Next, go and enter a secure password for your account that you'll remember, and simply agree to the terms of service. After completing this, you'll be sent a secure email with a code that you'll have to enter in to verify that you have the ownership of that email address used for registration, after which you'll be prompted to the next step of the onboarding process. So now we're on the onboarding screen. This is what you'll see when you first log into Simpli Management and haven't quite set up an account yet. So we'll go through and add a building. That'll be the first step of our onboarding experience. So we'll start off by adding the name of the property. This will be what it is displayed as to potential tenants, and as well as what you'll see on your dashboard when you log in. Next, we'll go ahead and add the year built, the year last renovated, the gross square footage of the building, the rough acreage of the lot, the building class, and a property type. Next, we'll go and add the address of the building. This will be the physical location where it's based. This address will be available to tenants if they want to know where the property is for a tour, and it'll also help us classify on your map later on. Next, we want to go in and add any of the financial information about the building that we have, such as the acquisition date, the parcel number if we have it, the purchase price, and the land value if we happen to know it off the top of our head, although that is not necessarily crucial to the steps involved later. Next, we have to set up an entity information. So this is information about the company that holds the building. So if we had an existing entity, we could have hit the yes button and gone in and selected it. But since we don't have one, we'll enter it now. So we're going to go ahead and say that Oak Street Capital LLC owns this. We'll enter in the corporate address, the city, the state, the zip code, and a statement descriptor, which will be the description that shows up on your tenant's bank account statements. Next, we can go ahead and optionally choose a photo of the building. So here we have a couple stock ones to choose from. So we're just going to go in and select the proper photo that we want. Now, once we have a photo uploaded, we can review the information about our building and then submit it. And this will allow us to have our first building, and it will move us into the next step, which is to add our first units to the building. So every building needs to have at least one unit to get started, but of course you can always add more later as you do renovations, or if you just want to have a simpler setup process by just adding one, although we do encourage adding as many as you can in the get-go. So now we'll use our bulk unit adder to add a unit type. So in this case, since we chose mixed use, we'll have 1 bedroom, 1 bath, multifamily type units. And for the first unit, we'll have a unit number of 101, a square footage of the unit of 1,500. We'll have an asking rent of 2,000 and a security deposit of 2,000 as well. All this information will be available on the listing. Next, we're going to put 1 bed, 1 bath. And now here we can optionally add a tenant if there's already one in place. If not, we can leave this blank. So next, we can go ahead and add a second 1 bedroom, 1 bath unit. This unit will be unit 202. It'll have 15,000 square foot, so it'll be a much larger one. We'll say 2,100 for the rent, 2,100 for the security deposit, and it'll be a 1 bed, 1 bath as well. So next, since it's a mixed use, we can go ahead and add another unit type to the building. So in this case, we're going to add retail space. And we'll go down and select retail, and then we'll add our retail unit. So the retail unit in this case will be 001 as the unit number. We'll go ahead and add the square footage in, our asking rent, the security deposit, the rental period, we're going to have them pay monthly. And then we'll just go down here, accept the box, and save all of our unit changes. This will add all the units to the building. Next, we're going to go ahead and enable our subscription, which will just be a recap of the units that we added, which we can go down here and continue and add a payment method. So through Simpli Management, you can pay with any credit or debit card as well as a bank account. We recommend using a credit or debit card for a faster setup, and we'll just go here and select a proper address and enter our test card information. So it's important to note that the credit card that we use here is a test card for demo purposes, but you can use your actual credit card when you're signing up in the process. So now that our payment method is added, we can just go through, review the software as a service agreement, and continue with our subscription. Now that the subscription is enabled, we have two choices. We can either continue without rent collection, or we can set up online rent collection right now. So we'll go ahead and walk through setting up online rent collection now. It's also noted that if you continue without online rent collection, you can use paper checks and continue later if you need it. So first up, this is all a demo and a test mode. So yours might look a little bit different, but in general, will be the same process. So we'll start off by adding a phone number, which will text us a verification code, which we can enter in at this time. Next, we're going to have to enter in a bunch of information about our company, and this will just be the EIN, the business address, our business phone number, and a website if we have it. If we don't have a website, we should provide an accurate description of our business. In this case, we're going to mention that we rent out property. In this next step, we may be required to provide information about ourselves. So we'll just go ahead and enter some information. You should ensure that while you're entering all this information in, it is as thorough and accurate as you can be to avoid any complications in the future. So this is another good time to note that the information that we're providing is all test information and not actually relevant information to any individuals or entities. So next, we can go ahead and add our bank account for which all the rent payments and application fees will be collected. So here, we already have some pre-selected test accounts, and we'll go ahead and set that up. So now we're all connected and ready to accept payments. Next, we're going to add a statement descriptor, which is what will show up on our tenants' bank statements when they pay rent to us. Next, just simply review all the information for accuracy and completeness, and then agree and submit. Just as simple as that, we're set up to collect live application fees and rent payments. And we'll just continue on to the main dashboard. So this is your owner dashboard. It'll pop up with a complete walkthrough, which we can show you the whole demo of the software. And I do encourage you to explore this when you get started. But here you can see there's important information, such as a map highlighting all your properties, multiple charts and graphics showing you pertinent information about your entire portfolio. And this will always be live updated with the newest information available, return metrics on your portfolio as a whole, once again the map of your portfolio showing all your locations, and a list of all your properties here below. So next we're going to go ahead and click on the actual building that we just added, which is right down here. So now you can see that we have that image of our building from before. And since we're in the onboarding process, you'll have another tutorial, which will close out it for now. So at the top, we have our quick cash flow summaries, which will show you quick information about your current month, your trailing 12 months, or the lifetime of the property. Next, you have your action items, which are work requests, action items, your edit building details, income expense, and assumptions. Next, we have data visualizations with the current month, the trailing 12 months, and the lifetime of the building. And these will always be updated. And now we have the financial statement. So Simpli Management generates an automatic trailing 12 months financial statement, which can be copied, exported to Excel, or in PDF. We can show the capital stack, the financing of the building, and all of our units are available right there, just like we added them. And then down here, we can manage our tenants, managers of the building if we have them, or contacts such as contractors or important people that we want to work with, and rent roll at the bottom. So now that we're getting familiar with our edit building page, we can hop back over to it and we'll take a look. So this is another tutorial that we'll just skip through for the time being. But as you can see, we have lots of information on this page to get through, and it'll be crucial for managing information, such as your owner email settings, which can help limit some of the emails you'll get on the building, especially if you have a property management team in place. You can add a brand new unit type, such as an office space or retail or multifamily. And then you have your building contact info, which will be publicly available to tenants, in addition to any other basic information about the building itself. So then next we'll go over and we'll make a new application template. So this template will be the same style that will be used for certain unit types. So since we're mixed use, we'll start off with a residential one, and we'll collect the resident's previous address information about their vehicle, other general questions, their finances, and we'll go ahead and collect an emergency contact as well. And we can optionally add an application fee as well. So now when we scroll down, you can see that we have a residential application, but since we're mixed use, we'll go ahead and add a commercial one as well. Also collect basic information about the business, their financial health. We'll go again and get the previous rental information, any requirements the business may have, and we'll go ahead and charge an application fee for this one as well. So that'll be right there, and we'll save the changes. Those applications can be edited at any point in time, and they're really there to help address any concerns the landlord might have when screening new tenants. So now we'll go ahead and examine what a unit interface looks like. So here we're at the unit type. So this will show all the 1 beds, 1 baths we have in the unit, and you can add multiple. You can add a new unit, duplicate range, or anything like that. Once we jump into the unit, we can go ahead and invite a tenant if we don't want to take them through the application process. We can add a new or existing, whether they want to sign a new lease or if they already have one. We can view the rent, work requests, unit-related expenses, supplemental documents, and of course, edit all the information about the building. So now we'll go ahead and add some more detail to the listing. So we'll just start off here by adding some references here. So we might go ahead and add a photo of the interior. We might add a floor plan and any other relevant information that will help make the listing a little bit more attractive. So now that we have those in place, we'll go ahead and save the changes, which will now put these photos live onto our platform page. And then we'll just simply go back. And now, why don't we go ahead and add a description for the unit. So now we'll go ahead and save the changes and then show you the rest of that. So we'll jump back over, and now we'll take a look at our retail unit. So just like the 1 bed, 1 bath, we can view all the retail units in this one spot. We can go back and manage it the exact same way, and we'll go ahead and start by uploading some photos to make the listing more attractive. So we'll start by adding our office floor plan, and then maybe a photo of the space to go along with it as well. And then just like before, we'll go ahead and we'll add a unit description. And while we're adding that, you can also take note of the unit status that is currently vacant, the rental period, the security deposit, the asking rent, the unit number, and the square footage. Those are all features that can be changed right here on this page. Now we'll go ahead and save that. And then we'll scroll back up here. and we'll go copy this link to available units page. So by copying that link and placing it on your website, you'll be able to direct users directly to your own personalized listing page. So right here, this is a page that your tenants would be viewing when they go to look at the available units that you have on your website. So as you can see, we'll click here on our 1 bed, 1 bath, and we can look through the floor plan and any other unit photos. We'll also see all the pertinent information such as rent, the security deposit, the square footage, bed and baths, descriptions, and of course, there's a big button for them to apply to the unit right now. So by clicking on that, this is the same view that your tenant will see when they go to apply to your building. This will collect all the pertinent information from them and allow them to submit an application for you to review later. And then coming down here, we can see an example of what this looks like on a commercial unit. So we get the same nice views of the unit, followed by our big purple apply button, coming down to collecting all the information that you need about a business to be able to evaluate their candidacy for your building, as well as the application fee. So next, we're going to come back to our units, and we're going to hit the Unit 101 just to go ahead and show you what an application process would look like. So we'll go ahead here and just re-examine the photos, and then come down and hit the big purple apply button. So for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and speed through a little bit. So we'll start off with the basic info, such as our current address, come down to previous address information, details about our desired lease term, our vehicle information, any general questions, our financial information, supporting documents, and any emergency contact information, as well as additional notes we may have for our landlord. We'll go ahead and submit, and then you can see what the tenant page looks like at the end there. So now we're going to go through the exact same process we just did for the residential unit, but we'll show you on the commercial side. So once again, we'll go back and double look at our listing, look at the floor plans, and then we'll go ahead and apply. So after we hit that apply button, we'll be directed over to the page with all the business information. Once again, we're going to speed through this a little bit, but we'll fill in all the pertinent information about our business, the corporate address, all of our financial information, the support to upload documents, any previous rentals, business requirements, general questions about our business, and we'll go ahead and submit. Next, since we have an application fee, we'll go ahead and enter all of our payment information to go ahead and pay that fee and complete our application. So we'll go add our address, and then since we'll have payment methods on file, we'll go ahead and add a payment method. And once again, this is a test payment method, so no real data being used here, but we'll go through, enter all the information, and then we'll go ahead and agree to the terms, and we'll complete with the application fee, after which we'll be presented to the tenant page. So now, jumping back over, we'll go ahead and take a look at our action items now that we have 2 pending applications. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the first one right here, which was the residential unit. We'll click on that, and then we can review the application for the residential unit. As you can see, we have the income to rent ratio, the rent, the security deposit, and the tenant contact. And then down here, we have all the filled in information from the tenant. We can download the supporting documents, such as any uploaded information, and we can accept or reject. In this case, we'll go ahead and accept them. So now that they've been accepted, we now need to go ahead and set up a lease for them. So we'll go jump down to the lease info section and we'll click create a lease. So this will load, and then we have to go ahead and create a signature for us to sign the lease with. So we'll go ahead, create the signature, and then scroll back up to the top here, and we'll go ahead and select our tenants. You can also select multiple for the same lease. We'll go ahead, we'll add our lease start date based off the information that was provided to us in the application or whatever works best. We'll go ahead and add a lease end date. We'll add the next regular payment date, which is the first normal payment date following the lease start, which will be the next reoccurring date. We'll add a late fee and a grace period for the late fee. Coming down, we can add planned increases as well if the lease is longer and we want to add some. So in this example, we are not going to add one, but we'll go ahead and add some lease option sets. So lease option sets are information about the lease, such as a lease renewal. So we'll come down here and we'll add a notification date on which our tenants will be notified of the option. And then we'll go ahead and add a deadline where they have to respond to us by. Next, we'll go ahead and add a description. Followed by the category, and then we'll go ahead and add the individual options. So in this case, we'll have continue on a month-to-month basis. We'll provide a description for this as well. Check our box to continue on a month-to-month basis. At this point, we can add a percentage increase change. So we'll call it 5%. We can also add a dollar amount if we so choose. And then days to notify before cancellation on the month-to-month basis. We'll go ahead and put 90 days. And we'll make it an opt-out option, which means that our tenant will have to opt out of this. Otherwise, they'll be automatically included. So then we'll go ahead and we'll upload a new lease to the platform by clicking the Upload Lease button. Now we simply need to navigate back, find our lease, and open it. And there we have it. Our lease, all the information, and the actual document itself is uploaded and ready to be sent and signed. So now we'll just sign and send, at which time the lease will be sent to our tenants, and our signature will be automatically applied. So if we go back and we view the lease document itself, we can see all the pertinent information about it. Up at the top here, we can remind the tenants about their lease, and we can go down and look at all of our added options and which time we can modify them if we need be. We can go ahead and edit any other information before the tenant has signed it. And if we scroll down, we can see that our signature is there at the bottom of the document, as well as any information pertinent to the signature. Now we're going to jump over and take a look at what the tenant portal looks like. So we'll go ahead and click on our 1 bed, 1 bath we applied to, and now we can see that there's a lease available for our signing. So now we can click to view the lease, which will pop up right here. We can go ahead and see all the pertinent information and go ahead and sign the document. So now that we've signed the lease, our landlord will get a notification about it, and we'll also receive an email confirmation of the lease signature. And then we can go ahead here and move on to the next step. So we have an insurance policy. Now we can go ahead and upload the policy and all the relevant information for our landlord, but we don't have one at the time that we're going to enter. So we'll just move ahead to the payment section. So under the payments, we can view our normal monthly payment as well as any late fees or adjustments or rent credits. We can view security deposit information, and we can go down and add our first payment method. So as a tenant, you can go through and you can add a credit card or a bank account to pay your rent. So we'll go through and set up a bank account here to start. So we'll go down, select bank account, and then once again, we'll hit test institution because we're using test data. We'll agree and continue. Select our bank account we wish to use with our bank, and then continue. And just like that, our bank account can be instantly verified and added onto our account. So now that the payment method is added, we can go ahead and jump back into our normal portal for the tenant. And now we can come up here and go to make a payment, or we can go ahead and set up automatic payments like we will now. So setting up automatic payments, we'll go ahead and put in our monthly payment amount, select the payment method, and then start automatic billing. We'll go through and confirm all the information. And then just as easy as that, we've set up automatic payments. So now on a reoccurring basis, automatic payments will be made every month to our landlord. And now we'll go ahead, we can check out our units, and we can see all the information. We can go to our payments. We can go check out the applications, the leases, the supplemental documents, and it's all right here. So next we'll go show how a work request would work. So we can go here, we can view open work requests, resolved work requests, or rejected work requests. So we'll go ahead and make a new one. So here, we'll go ahead and we'll just write something really quick. And we'll add the request, which will now be sent to our landlords and property managers to review and work on. It'll show us how long it's been open for and any other relevant information as status changes update. Now we're going to start off by going and seeing what the work request looks like when it comes in on a property manager or landlord side. So here you can see our work request numbers. We can go ahead and evaluate the individual request. We can mark resolve, we can reject it, or we can reach out to the tenant for additional information on the issue if need be. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and mark this as resolved for the tenant, and this will go ahead and shoot them an email letting them know that the issue has been resolved, and it'll be showed as resolved on the landlord side and on the manager side, as you can see here. So then next, we'll go ahead and jump over and show the process for adding in a property manager. So this would be if you had a property management firm working independently, or if you had your own management team on site. So we'll go ahead down, hit the Add Manager button, and then we'll go ahead and create our first profile for management. So hopping down here, our management permission profiles are a group of privileges which we allow to certain managers. So you can make these individualized custom groups to be able to sort out what jobs you might allow certain people to do in your property. So in this case, we'll make a Manager 1 profile. So this Manager 1 profile will have access to certain information. We'll go fill all this out now. And then once we have the selected permissions we want added, and then our Manager 1 is all set up and ready to be used. Now we can go ahead and see that our profile is there, and we'll go ahead and jump back to our building. Now at this time, we can scroll back down to our management page. But first, we're gonna go take a quick look and show that the owner email settings are right here, so you can always configure what sort of information you wanna get. So now continuing back down to the management screen, we can go ahead and click on the Manager tab and go ahead and add our first manager. So we can enter in their first name, last name, email address, and phone number. And at the bottom, we can see how we can select a manager profile, which will basically assign the certain privileges to that manager. And keep in mind that adding a managers isn't permanent and you can always revoke if need be. But this process will send the manager of your choice an invitation of which they can accept or reject, and which you'll be notified of their choice. So now hopping back over, we can go ahead and view that actual manager profile and show how we can change their profile settings, view their contact information, or remove them if the need be. Now we're going to dive in on the manager side. We'll go ahead and accept that invitation that we just received, and now we should be a part of our building. So we'll go here, and then we can look at our portfolio's overview. So if you allow this person to manage multiple buildings for you, it'll show you all the different information about the aggregate buildings. It'll show the number of applications, the charts that you allow them to see, leases expiring within 90 days. And then on top of that, we can go hop back over here, and we can explore all the same buildings that we would see. There's the owner contact information and the building itself. So under the building itself, you notice that this view is going to look very similar to the one that we've been looking at before on the owner platform, but if you choose to omit certain permissions from managers, they won't be able to do certain actions on these pages anymore or view certain data that you might restrict. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the accounting side of the software. So we'll pop over to the income and expenses for the building, and right here we can see an income versus expense for the trailing 12 months. So there'll be already some application accounts that are filled in for you, but you can go ahead and add your own like such. Here, we're going to go ahead and add a trash removal account. So after adding that, we come down and we can go manage it. So while managing this trash removal account, we can go and we can count entries, which will basically be entries of income or expense. In this case, it'll be an expense. And then it'll be shown visually in the chart above, showing us a month-over-month change, a year-to-date balance, and any other relevant information that we need. When we come in here, we can add or edit information about entries and view any information on the edit information slide. And then of course, it'll also be reflected here on our main building accounts page, showing all the income and expense, including ratios or any other relevant information. So then when we take a trip back to our main building page, all that data gets poured right into the data visualizations. So you can see here on the current month, we can hide or show expenses to show how big they are. We can see the occupancy of the building, our ancillary income, work requests, in addition to any other information we want. And of course, we can view that in our T12 or our lifetime, in addition to the current month. So now coming on down, we can take a look at the financial statement. And if you notice, there'll be a lot of things automatically inputted. There'll be our application fee that we accepted, our trash removal, and it'll go through and calculate a fully customized statement. So next, let's go ahead and add a loan. Because our software allows for loan tracking, we can come in here and look at all of our financial breakdowns. So we can see your average cash on cash return, your IRR, your equity multiple, your operating expense ratio, your net profit, and any other information you need. We can go in and we can keep track of all the equity holders in the building. So we'll go ahead and we'll just say we're going to put ourselves in as an equity holder. So we'll go put in an equity stake of $1 million and add that in. So there we can see it. And then the next step, we're going to go through and add a loan. So we're going to go ahead and add a 10-year fixed rate loan, but we also have support for floating rate loans as well. We'll go ahead and put all the information about the loan. And then as we scroll down, we can view all the information such as the loan amount, the balance, the next payment, the start date, the end date, and whether it's active or not. So we'll go ahead and view the loan. Here, we'll get a complete breakdown of all the information on the repayment schedule. This will show you your expected payments, your interest and principal levels, what your balance your loan will be when it comes due, and any other information you need. So then we come down, we can add a payment, and we should already automatically calculate what your principal and interest split should be, and roughly when your payment should be as well. So you can just simply click add to make your payment known to the software, as well as edit any information you need on the payments if you made an extra one, or if you want to go down and edit the loan type and any information about the loan, you're welcome to do so as well. So there we can see our payment and all the loan information. So coming back, all that loan information and payments gets reflected on those ratios. So scrolling down more, we come to the refinance and sale analysis. So here we can enter in all the information about our building, and it'll automatically pull in information relevant to your net operating income, your cap rates, and anything else that we can pull in. And by inputting the additional information that's provided, it'll come through and help automatically calculate what your refinancing could be on a loan to value basis, a debt service coverage ratio, and many more analysis types as we scroll down here. Down here, we can see the capital stack right below our financial statement, as well as in the financial statement, we can see a reflection of the new loan balances being put in. And don't forget that this all flows back through to your owner dashboard, where you can view your net operating income on a portfolio level to your expenses. You can view your debt service, you can view your equity, you can view your debt to equity ratios, you can see your weighted average cost of debt, and any other information that you need for a healthy portfolio overview. We're going to show you how to start your first pro forma model. So simply go navigate over to the Owners tab, click on Pro Forma Models, and then click Add New Model to get started. You're going to start off by entering in your building name of the desired building that you want to make a model for, and then simply click Add New Pro Forma. This will now bring you over to the input section for the model. So here we're going to enter in all the relevant information about the building, such as the start year, the end year, the building gross square footage, the depreciation period, our estimation of selling costs, the entry cap rate, our target exit cap, the loan to value ratio, the discount rate, the interest rate, the amortization period, the loan term, and then we can go ahead and start adding accounts. Just like in our accounting section under the owners page, we can go in and add accounts that are pertinent to the building, such as pet fees or anything else like trash removal or building maintenance, and we can add all this in under this one section. So we want to go, and these are going to be on a yearly amount, and then we can go ahead and apply a growth rate to that and label it whether it's an income or an expense. And as you can see, it'll all auto-populate. Next, we're going to go ahead and add a unit assumption. So we're going to start off with 1 bed, 1 bath. We're going to add our base year rent per month for the unit, followed by a yearly growth rate, and then the number of units in our building, and the average unit square footage. As you can see, all that growth rate assumption will be baked into the model. Next, we'll go ahead and add our capital expense assumptions. So we're going to estimate a $30,000 outlay in the first year. So next, we can either save the changes to the model, we can convert the model over to be a building if we wish to do that, or we can delete the analysis. In this case, we're going to go ahead and save the model. So by saving the changes to the model, we're brought over to the Analysis tab, where we can see the annual effective gross income versus our expenditure, our annual cash-on-cash return, the unit mix, and the annual yield on cost, all presented in very easy-to-read charts. Next, we'll have the deterministic analysis, which will give you the purchase price, the loan amount, the sale price, and the net present value of the project, followed by a trailing 12 financial statement based off of all the inputs that we provided, giving you a full breakdown of your potential investment. Next, we'll have the stochastic analysis, which runs a simulation of over 10,000 different examples, varying different rates to try to give you a better generalized feel for what your investment could look like. So all this baked together presents a really good model, and we can go through and try this for free on our website at no cost to you. Hey, once again, thank you for watching our in-depth tutorial on how to use Simpli Management software and get started. And for more information, feel free to check us out at simplymanagement.com, and also try our free property valuation tool to value your property and be able to gain insights you might not otherwise. Totally free.